been a Red Cross volunteer for 4 years.
And what kind of made you want to make the trek from Missouri to California to help with the fires?
I do this all the time. I'm a disaster cycle services volunteer. Last year, I responded to 10 major disasters all over the United States. And so I often get the call. And when they called and said, "Can you be there?" I said, "I'll be on the next plane."
Awesome. And um, obviously, I know it's a difficult situation, but can you just kind of describe, I guess, what you're seeing there and the kind of damage that is there?
The role I'm playing this week is I'm in the communications department with the National Advanced Public Affairs team. I've spent a lot of time in the shelters, at the warehouses, and also out in the affected neighborhoods. And when you get up into the lower mountain areas where the fires were, it's just devastating. There are blocks and blocks and blocks of where there were once middle class homes, and now they're burned to the ground. There's nothing left. There's charred automobiles. There's nothing left of the home but a pile of ashes and burnt debris. All that's left standing is the chimneys. And all of these thousands of people have been forced from their home and evacuated. And the American Red Cross is providing shelter for these people that no longer have a place to stay and helping them as they begin to adjust to the challenges that they face.
And have you run into anybody there? I'm sure you have, who has just been grateful for what you've been doing out there.
These people are very grateful. And of course, we're so happy that we can help. I'm standing outside the Pasadena, California Red Cross shelter. There are about 400 people who have been displaced from their homes that are in this shelter. We have 6 other shelters around the city that are also filled with people. These people have been here for days, some of them a week now, since the wildfires began. And the American Red Cross is providing safe haven for them, a place to sleep. They're providing hot meals. But in addition to that, we're providing disaster health services, disaster mental health services, and helping them cope. We find that initially there's a shock as they are fleeing from the disaster. And then as the days go on, they need somebody to talk to. So Red Cross volunteers are here. There are dozens of them supporting these people. And one of the things we find is what they need most of all is a listening ear, someone to let them tell their story and get it out so that they can begin to recover.
And I guess last question, how do you feel just being there? Obviously a tough situation, but just being able to help those people?
I'm so glad I found the American Red Cross and became a volunteer. I go all over the country, and when I return home, people ask me, "What do you remember most?" And I don't remember the debris or the surroundings or the terrain. What I remember most are the faces of the people that we helped. Just yesterday, I was beside the cot of a woman as I began to speak with her, and she was 80 years old. She's a second generation Polish immigrant. And as she fled her home, the only thing she could do was grab some decades old photos of her family from the wall. And she had these large photos that were in antique frames. And she said, "This was my father. This was my mother. These are my cousins and my aunts and uncles." And so as she fled in her pajamas in the middle of the night from a wildfire that was devastating her neighborhood, all she could bring with her was her memories and those photos. And those are the kind of people that we're supporting here to help them through this, to provide safety and security and refuge as they begin to build their new normal.
And just kind of some logistical questions. Sorry, how long are you going to be there for?
The assignment I'm on now is a very intense assignment. I'm with the national photo team out of Washington, D.C. this week. And so we get up in the morning, hit the ground about 7 o'clock, and I don't usually finish processing until about 11 o'clock at night. So these deployments are very intense, and I'll be here a week. I'll probably be returning then as the public affairs manager of the operation. Usually our deployments are 2 weeks, and then they stretch further sometimes as volunteers are available. And I would like to say the American Red Cross is always in need of more volunteers. And if people's lives are touched, their hearts are touched by what's going on, I encourage them to become an American Red Cross volunteer. We've got all sorts of jobs, from warehousing and forklift drivers and disaster spiritual care people, disaster mental health people, shelter workers. And so we need more volunteers, and we're grateful for the support of the American people. The Red Cross receives no government funding, and all of this is financed by the generosity of the American people.
And are you So I reached out through the Missouri, or I guess the Central Missouri Red Cross. Are you affiliated with the Missouri sector at all, or no? Yes.
Yes, I'm part of the Missouri-Arkansas region of the American Red Cross. My home is Neosho, Missouri.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Um, Anybody else you've run into from the region, or is it mainly just you out there?
I've seen a few others from our region. The Red Cross, when you deploy as often as I do, it's interesting because we live in all parts of the country, but we'll converge on a place. And I saw you last in Maui, or I saw you last in Florida, and we just pick right up where we left off and begin working to help people again.
That's awesome. I think that's everything I can bother you with. Anything else that you want to add or think is important people know?
The American Red Cross is always there when disaster strikes, and we're grateful for the support of the people and can always use more volunteers. And so if the viewers' hearts are touched, go to redcross.org and find out more.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.